This is the Kestrel Country Podcast, where we discuss the people, places, and events all around Kestrel Country. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kestrel Country Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Church, joined here as always by my lovely wife and co-host, Kathryn.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to March.
March 1st.
Yeah. It's a wet and rainy March.
Yes, it is.
Let's go. Is this the month that comes in like an eye and out like a lamb?
No, lion.
I know, in like a lion, out like a lamb.
Oh, it sounded
that's
like
March, yeah?
I. No, it's lion, out like a lamb.
And that's March.
Yes, except typically March here is in like a lion, out like a lion.
That's true. A lot of lions. Well, tell us about this last interview. So you went solo on Friday.
I did. Summer Stokes, we talked about her art. So her Etsy shop title is actually Summer Stokes Art. And back in the day, Summer painted some of our house gifts that we would give people. Sophie Whitling does a beautiful job on those as well. There's a lot of talent around here.
Yeah.
But Summer has created a whole business with her art. She has a services side and she's got her product side. So she helps people with logos and all the design stuff. So we just kind of talk about how it got started, how she fell into it, and what she loves and what she's doing here in Moscow with, you know, being able to work by herself, for herself with art.
Very cool. Good. Well, let's get right into it.
Okay. Summer Stokes is with us today, which is really fun because Summer, back in the day, used to paint our little houses for us, which we frequently give to clients when they close on a house. So Summer does artwork and you've made a business out of it in Moscow, Idaho. So rewind a little bit and tell me how you got into it. Art?
Yeah, that is a... can we turn this down a little bit?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you like hearing myself really
loud?
loud?
I'm going to turn your headphones down a little bit too.
Okay.
There you go.
That could work better.
Okay. Is that better?
Perfect. I'm like, get distracted by...
I know. By hearing all of the echo.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's me.
I know.
Very much me.
I know, because you have the microphone and the headset on. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, so backing up to how I got into it, it's kind of just a weird, like, just random opportunities that pop up. That's how basically everything ends up happening. But, I've done graphic design for a while. Back in like high school, I got into it. I just love to like play around on like Word, like Microsoft Word, and just like make menus and just do things for fun. Just like I did that on my own all the time. And then I got hired as a receptionist and graphic designer for Christchurch, and got to learn on the job there. And then I made connections through different people that knew me through that. And then I went out on my own. And then like I've always been drawing since I was little. Like literally that's all I did growing up was just draw. I would draw characters from stories I'd make up in my head and like just always be drawing. My mom was like, that's literally all you did. And so I just kind of practiced through just constant repetition and I always loved it, but I would kind of come back and forth to it, you know, just, it's like a hobby. Like when you
have the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Fits and spurts.
Exactly. And so, so I never, like I was thinking when I was a kid, I was like, my dream job would be an illustrator, like a book illustrator. And I never really thought of that as like that being hard to do. I was like, that's just, when you're a kid, you're like, you
don't
can do
understand
anything.
The starving artist.
Exactly. It's like money is a thing.
Yes,
you're like, no, I want to draw, so I'm going to draw. And I think I kind of like got out of that for a bit during high school and college because I was just focused on graphic design. Yeah. And then I started drawing little like comics about my roommates and I, and people started seeing those on Instagram and were like, wait, you can draw? I didn't know that. Like, and so people reached out about like illustrating them and then illustrating their houses and stuff like that. And so it just kind of like snowballed after that. Just like, oh, this is a thing people want. Right. And so I started advertising it on Instagram. And then it's like, because the internet is just so widespread, you can get people from all around the world wanting your stuff. If they see it, if the right people see it, it just kind of takes off. And so that's kind of what happened. Completely God. Like like people say it's like, oh, it's just luck. It's like all these random things that have to happen to make it become a thing. It's like, no, that is God. That is completely providential, because that was not my effort.
The timing on all of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, and now it has just become, what it is. And I do illustrations for universities and real estate agencies and tech companies and authors and just so many different kinds of people. And it is so fun that illustration is such a, it's so...
Well, it's very needed.
Yes.
And I think it's easy to miss how much it is out there.
Right.
Where, okay, I'm working on a flyer, I'm working on a brochure, and yes, I could just grab a photo for sure.
Right.
But then if you start thinking, well, it'd be really great if it had this specific look, or it's going to make somebody pause and look at it for a little bit longer if it's actually not a real photo. And if it is a sketch or a watercolor or something, it's going to draw the eye from a marketing angle on a whole different aspect.
It makes it more organic and personal and just unique. It gives that touch that's like, you don't realize something needs till you're like, wait, and it is fun. That, like you were saying, like there's all kinds of different things that could use illustrations. Like if you are even just like a manual, for telling people how to do something, you need to show them that. And sometimes you can do it with photos, but it's actually just so much cuter too.
Right. Well, there's a cute factor and then the understanding of it, like sketching, and that's so few lines to try to put across, okay, this is how to do it. So like, for instance, the IKEA instructions are what come to mind. Yeah. Because, okay, there's no words here to tell you, it's pictures, and you have to get that across to everybody. Yeah. So it has to be very understandable.
Very clear.
Yes. Yeah. And in a very short period of time, especially if you're thinking Instagram or whatever else it might be. But let me back up a little more. Yeah. So did you do any training, or were you all self-taught?
Self-taught completely. Okay. So my dad taught me like the basics of drawing when I was like 3. It's just like how to hold a pencil. He's a really good artist. So
I didn't know that.
So my dad's a really good artist. He's just good at everything. So it's kind of like, makes sense. Exactly. And so he got me into it when I was just really little, and then I would take little classes here and there of watercolor classes. I took watercolor from your dad, and that's how I got into watercolor, and that's my main medium now. Yeah. So I didn't go to school for it at all, but I also just would do it all the time, so it was a huge practice. Graphic design, I also self-taught. I took like a Coursera course to get some of the fundamentals. Right. Like later when I was like, I should probably know a few things about like typography and whatnot. And so, it was just mostly just through experience.
So how do you blend the two? Because if someone's really interested, okay, I love the art side of it, but I want to make a business out of it. Right. How, because you live in Moscow and you've made this work.
Yeah. Surprisingly.
And so if they're trying to blend those two mediums, where do you do that through the process?
Like the mediums of graphic design and illustration?
Yes. Graphic design.
Or business.
Well, both actually, but graphic design and illustration was what I was thinking about. Like, okay, you started with a sketch. Right. When do you bring that into your computer? How do you deliver that? All of those things.
Yeah. I like to, because there are so many good graphic designers out there, and it's easy to be like, okay, they are so much more skilled than I am. What am I even doing here? It is nice to try to find the things that'll set you apart a bit, and not every graphic designer can draw. So I try to combine the two just to make it like more uniquely me. As well as I think illustration gives it that beautiful, unique, or organic factor. So what I do when I'm designing something, let's say branding, doing a logo or whatever, I like to make sure that it's more of a pictographic logo, not just focus. Like if they want a typographic one, I'll just do words. That's great. But I like to try to include the illustrations into the logo. Same with packaging design. I like to have like organic elements that are hand illustrated to just give it that unique look. Yep. Just because that's my strength. So I like to play to my strengths. And so I just combine the two. And I really, I love, the seamlessness of technology now with being able to so I have an iPad and Procreate is the app that I use for drawing, and my Apple Pencil. So if I'm not doing, watercolor
Yeah.
and like paper stuff, I will do it on there, and that so seamlessly can be just airdropped to your computer and then vectorized on Illustrator and like combined with the graphic design elements that you've already created. And so it's really pretty easy to like combine the two because of just the technology that you can have.
Yeah.
And then with hand drawing stuff, I can you just take a picture of it, scan it, send it to your computer. So it's pretty seamless,
All through there. Yeah. So what do you offer people? I know you have your Etsy shop, which is Summer Stokes Art. Yeah. Right. If people are looking for that. So what are all your different areas that you offer services in? Yeah.
So it's really fun. So the business, Summer Stokes, is the just overall business, because I like to just, have my name so it doesn't like put me in any sort of niche if I want to change, So it's
if you're
me.
From one.
And then, and so I've got two sides. So I've got the product business, which is Summer Stokes Art, and that's on Etsy. It's an online store. And then I've got services, which are the graphic design and illustration, branding, marketing, copywriting. Like I do a lot of random things on that side. And with the Summer Stokes Art Etsy business, I've got state stickers, magnets, keychains, posters, watercolor prints, like all the things that you could possibly think of to create into a thing that people would want. I've just been running with that. And so I backing up a bit, I came into this random niche of state designs back in like high school. I designed an Idaho design that I was like, oh, I really love this. Like I don't see a ton of like good Idaho designs like that are actually pretty around. And so my mom was like, you should make this into a sticker or a t-shirt. And so I just did that once. I was like, okay, sticker mule, I'm going to print these, like see who wants it. And locally, like people just went crazy for it.
Well, they're so cute.
Thank you. I really liked them. It was like, if I personally like them, that's a huge thing too, because I can be very picky. So if I like it, I'm like, okay, I actually want to like show people this. And then people started asking for more states. And so I just started making all 50 states. So I finally made all 50 states. It took me like 3 years.
And so what do you have available for all 50?
I have, for all 50, it's stickers and magnets have all 50.
All 50.
Yes. Woo. So that's
a lot.
Okay, so many, especially when you're ordering inventory.
Yes, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh.
And storing it.
Yes, and storing it in your house.
Yep.
So I've got all 50 states designed, and then I want to keep adding products for each of them. So keychains, like with these gold enamel keychains. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. And the gold enamel pins and all kinds of stuff like that. Oh, and posters. I think I have almost all 50 states. But
wow. And is the poster? I don't think I've seen your poster.
Yeah. So it's basically just the design on a white background with the name of the state underneath.
Oh, that's
so it's
fun.
very just like minimalistic, but also that pop-up color. I wanted to do something that like I'd actually want to put in my home, And
So here's a question. When did you land on kind of your style? Because you do a lot of outlining stuff. It is more graphic or more illustrative.
Right.
If that's how you describe it. So when did that kind of start to cement for you?
Yeah. So it's funny because I'm a very organized and like I love clarity. So I am like a very left-brained artist, which is like, I don't see that a ton. And so I like to color within the lines. Like I don't like, that's just who I am. Yeah, exactly. It's never like a random wash and like just throwing stuff on a canvas, which I kind of wish I could do that. And I need to like try
branch
that
out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely do. Yeah. But that definitely, kind of aimed my style to become where it is just through what I like to do. And so I like to have like very crisp lines. And so with my watercolor art, it's all just crisp micron pen with a watercolor fill. It's and I love to do details and a lot of like, so it would make a really good like I Spy book, Yes. You just do like a ton of, all these little details. And then with the digital art, it's the same kind of thing where I just like to have things just be very like crisp. And so I think that just goes in line with my personality, which I like to have everything in order, and so, but also like have fun with the colors
which it is really fun. I was just curious on where that landed or where
I think it was just through who I am and then what I was drawn to be drawing. And then it was like, oh wow, this has become a style. And I think also finding out that people liked the watercolor style that I did, I was
with
like, I'm just going to keep
look, I think is part of it.
And I couldn't really find many other artists that did that. Like I kept looking, I was like, I want to like see other artists who are doing this kind of thing to see what I can grow in. And no one was really doing this kind of style of this like very crisp, watercolor and pen look. And that actually helped in just finding a niche.
Right. Where you could be able to sell.
Exactly.
So where do you do, if you don't mind, which part of the business keeps you busier? Is it the product business or the service business?
Services.
Okay.
So I have a manager assistant,
Yeah.
B McIntosh.
Yes.
She's incredible. Like I would die without her, but she basically runs the whole product side of the business. So she does all the shipping and packaging and customer service and whatnot. And so I just have to kind of think logistically, like where are we going? What products are we adding? But because she's like in touch with all the customers, she definitely points me in the right direction. It's like, this is what people are asking for.
Okay. And
so that's become kind of like a passive income for me to be able to just, have someone else take care of it and have it just running in the background, making me money. Yeah. And so then that has freed me up to pick and choose and be a little pickier with my client projects and be able to I only do stuff now I don't do anything really locally anymore. I do mostly businesses, no personal projects anymore or whatever. So I really like.
So you don't take commissions in the same stretch.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So I used to do commissions for people I knew and the little portraits and whatnot. Yeah. And now I've been doing more focusing on branding and packaging and and author illustrations and whatnot.
So are you doing longer, bigger projects where you're handling a business's X, Y, Z marketing side of it for a whole year, or is it
sometimes? So I'm on retainer with some clients where it's a consistent thing that so then you get to know them over a couple years, which has really been awesome. I like having that long-standing relationship with clients, and you really get to know their process, how they communicate, they get to know how you do things. And so you have that. And then to keep me from getting bored, I've got a lot of other random things. I'll just 2-week projects or 4-week projects. And I really like the variety of being able to just you're doing a website for an RV company and then coffee bags for a coffee company. And it's just such a variety of different kind of clients that you're working with, which is really, really fun.
Yeah. Especially if you're creative and if you're wanting to draw constantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it been hard to constantly draw, or does it,
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of why I like running the business, because I get to have that side of things where it's just more, I don't even know what you'd call that, but I guess just logistical, and you're just thinking, in the future, and you're not doing anything really, no busy work,
Right.
It's just more strategic. And then I like being able to do branding and stuff, because that's mostly just graphic design, and I do copywriting too, and just different things that I don't want to be a hand all the time, just drawing, sitting there drawing. Yeah. And so being able to kind of get my brain engaged and being able to think, add in marketing stuff and just be a little more strategic in different areas. I really enjoy that. I kind of have to have that to be able to stay excited. If it's just drawing all the time, I just get so bored. Yeah. And that kind of points back to when I was a kid, especially in high school, I would draw when I wanted to. I would draw every couple months. I wouldn't do it all the time, you know. You just kind of it's one of the things that you come back to.
And a hobby versus a work.
Exactly. Yes. And when your hobby becomes your work, you have to make sure you're not just exhausted of it,
so that you don't dislike what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's really fun. So where do you see it going right now?
Yeah.
For you? Do you want to continue growing your product line and, keep getting that bigger too? Yeah,
I would. I'd really, since that's passive, I just would really like to just have that keep growing and growing. Yeah. Also get more, wholesale orders are great. And so just reaching more people through there and adding products there. Just want to see that grow for sure. And then, and then for the services, just adding more clients that align to my values and the things that I love doing and the interests and stuff, and making more money doing it, and just seeing that grow. I'd be down to continue that kind of forever, because it has enough variety that I feel like this is in line with me, and it changes and grows with me.
Right. So you can ebb and flow and turn off some work when you need to.
Yeah. If it's okay, this is not my strength anymore, or this isn't what I like doing, you can just turn that part off and focus on other things. And I really do like that. The ability to have it change with me.
Yeah. Well, that's really, really fun. So if people want to find you for your services, where do they go?
SummerStokes.com. Okay. So that is just kind of or Summer Stokes Art on Instagram. But SummerStokes.com is my website, and it's kind of got an overview of everything I do and offer. And then they just email me and you get started on something.
And then if they want to buy your product.
Yes. Summer Stokes Art on Etsy.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's the one spot right now.
That's the one spot right now. Yeah. I've thought about making my own platform on my website, but there's so much that goes into that, and Etsy finds people for you. So I'm I've got a big enough niche. If you search stuff on Etsy, I come up first. So I'm okay, great. This is been
a good
doing
platform.
Yeah. But if it sinks, I sink with it. So I definitely have to think of a plan B.
So for finding you on Instagram, it's just Summer Stokes Art.
Summer Stokes
for
Art.
both sides of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
It's really
Thanks
fun
for
to chat
having
about
me.
it. Yeah.
It was so fun.
Thanks for joining us. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next week.